Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Robin's Reading Nest, where birds of a feather read together. I've got a new book for us today, and this book is called Glory B, and it is written by Danielle Arceneaux. And this is the first book in the Glory Broussard mystery series. It's cozy mystery, and like I said in a couple of my TikToks and Instagram reels, I have been on a cozy mystery kick for about a year now, I would say. So, if you don't know what a cozy mystery is, just think of it like an episode of Murder She Wrote. So, the character is usually a female, and she's usually an older female. And she's either retired or she has some type of hobby. So, her hobby can be baking, knitting. She can work at a coffee shop. She can have a garden. And also in Cozy Mysteries, the main character usually has a pet. So for some, it can be a cat. For others, it can be a dog. And also in the books, there's not really any graphic violence like you would find in thrillers. So you're not going to read the book and say, oh, this character has a bullet wound through their head and there's blood everywhere. No, a cozy mystery is going to say, okay, this character has a gunshot wound. And that's is about as graphic as it's going to get. It's not going to go into too much detail. Also, there's not going to be sex scenes where everything is just, very graphic. The closest you may get is the author may say, oh, she gently kissed him on the lips or they held hands. It's not going to go into too much detail, just like I said, the Murder She Wrote series. So if you love Jessica Fletcher or you catch yourself watching Jessica Fletcher at night before you go to bed, like I do, I think you would probably like the cozy mystery genre. So, once again, like I said, this is Glory B by Danielle Arceneaux, the first book in the Glory Broussard mystery series. As the book begins, we meet our main character, Glory, who is having coffee in her local coffee house. And, she's enjoying her coffee and talking to a couple of regulars in the shop. And the lieutenant of the police force sits down and has a conversation with her. And while they're talking and reminiscing a little bit, a call comes over his radio. And the call is from an address that Glory immediately recognizes as her best friend, Sister Amity. The call is saying that there is a deceased person at the scene. And Glory tells Lieutenant Landry that that can't be right because that's her friend's address. Lieutenant Landry kind of reassures Glory that no, 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 you're jumping to conclusions. We don't know that it's her, and you don't know for sure that it's her address. But Glory is adamant that it is her address, and she rushes over to the scene. So once she gets there, she meets Lieutenant Landry and she kind of pleads with him, like, please, let me go in. She has no family. I'm her only family. I'm her best friend. Let me go in and identify the body and make sure that it is my best friend. So, against his better judgment, Lieutenant Landry does let Glory go into the apartment, and her worst fear is confirmed. It is her best friend and childhood best friend, Sister Amity. But looking at the body, Glory just cannot believe what she's seeing. Her best friend is a nun, and it seems as if Sister Amity has taken her own life. And Glory knows that this can't be true. Her friend changed her life around for the better. She had a lot going on in the community. Everybody loved her. It wouldn't make sense for her to take her own life. So Lieutenant Landry and everybody's in town is like, well, sometimes you don't know what a person is going through. You think you know somebody and you really don't. And Gloria just does not accept this answer. Her friend would not do this. So Gloria takes it upon herself to do an investigation. And after going through town and talking to a few people, piecing a couple of things together, she realizes that it's possible that she was actually right and people should be digging into the death of her friend. The scene was staged, and this is actually a murder. Okay, so let's start off by talking about a couple of the characters. Our first character, Miss Glory Broussard, is a feisty 60 plus year old woman who is so self righteous but has flaws just like the people she's trying to judge. She claims to be such a stand up devoted Catholic, yet, when we first meet her, she's sitting in the coffee house taking bets on college and high school games. That's right, Miss Glory Broussard is actually the local bookie. She's using this money as kind of her side hustle, I guess you could say. During her divorce from her ex husband, it was settled that she would actually get his clients and his black book of names. So that's how she supplements her income by placing bets on the local games. We also find out that Miss Glory has somewhat of a hoarding problem and she's on the verge of losing her home. She lost her mother, and if you've ever watched the TV show Hoarders, you know that grief can manifest in different ways. Some people may take to drinking, some may take to drugs, and there are other people who just they have the impulse to just buy and hold on to stuff. And Glory, she expresses her grief by just keeping just things that she really doesn't need. She'll take her money from her bets and she will go to estate sales and she'll buy crystal wine goblets and fancy jewelry, and she just puts this stuff in her home and it just sits there. So Glory wants to know, how did the city even know she was hoarding this stuff? Like, you would actually have to come into her home to see it. So while she's investigating the murder of her friend, that's another issue. She has to find out, like, who would be doing this to her. Our second character that we meet is Delphine, and this is Glory's daughter from New York. Her daughter is a lawyer and is married to a doctor. She comes down to the funeral, and Glory doesn't realize that her daughter has decided to stay with her for a couple of days after the funeral. She doesn't outright tell her mom why, but it has something to do with her own life because her daughter is going through her own divorce at the moment. Um, our next character, Sister Amity, the nun, who is the best friend of Gloria, we found out that she is a very integral part of the community. She's helping families build homes. She's helping, pass out food drives. And we also found out that she is protesting the building of a local chemical plant. And so Glory decides that this is one of the reasons why her friend couldn't have hurt herself. Because if you are protesting a chemical plant, why would you take your life? Sister Amity is protesting this chemical plant with Father Romero. Now, Father Romero is somewhat of like a local celebrity. He's been on CNN, he's got books, his face is just like everywhere. And Father Romero was just given $1 million grant to do with it what he pleases. Now, Glory thinks that he should take this money and help out the entire community. But Father Romero hasn't done anything with this money as of yet. Our next character is Lieutenant Bo Landry, and we find out that he was raised by Glory's mother and is a former high school classmate of Delphine. He is currently married to Carrie Benoit, and the Benoit family is an old money family. So their last name is on numerous schools, foundations, and businesses throughout Glory's local community. So you know they're basically like royalty, like the Louisiana version of the Rockefellers. Another character is Noah Singleton, who is the owner of the CC Coffee House, where Glory sets up shop for her illegal gambling activities. He is a former Marine, and he is working with his new employee, another character by the name of Gus. Now, Gus was hired through the work release program, and Glory, with her self righteousness, is a kind of leery of Gus. She doesn't trust him because he's been in jail. But Noah tells her, "Hey, look, everybody deserves a second chance, and even you deserve one." He says, kind of teasing her about her gambling. We also meet Keller Benoit, another member of the old money Benoit family, who places bets with Glory. Now, I'm not sure if Keller and Carrie are brother and sister or cousin, but they are kin in some way. All of the characters play an integral part of the story, and I think it helps to move the story along at a nice pace. So, because it is Louisiana, it's the South, we have a couple of themes that we see in this story, and one of them is racism. And we see that Glory has to deal with racism. She has been dealing with it all of her life, really. But one of the things that she brought up was that when a black woman disappears or, something happens to her, the media and the police really don't have an urgency to investigate it. And because her friend Amity is black, Glory feels like, somebody really needs to step in and do an investigation. And if it's not going to be the police, she's going to be the one to do it. Today we kind of call this the missing white woman syndrome, where if she's a beautiful woman, blonde haired, blue eyed, she's immediately plastered all over the news and social media. And everybody is expected, to keep their eyes peeled. But then there are other women who, black women, women of color, that they don't get as much spotlight put on their cases. So Glory says she didn't want that to happen to her friend. Also, she said from experience, um, there was a young black girl who went to spend the night with a white family, and this was back when Glory was a child. And that girl died under mysterious circumstances. No one investigated her death. They just took the word of the white family, and that was it. And so Gloria said, she would not be dealing with that. We also come to a scene where Glory goes to a country club, to a meeting, and automatically she's sent to the back like she's the help, like she's working with the caterers. And Gloria's offended, like, now wait a minute. I know you see the way I'm dressed. I didn't come here for this. So without giving away too much of the book, I'm going to give you a couple of funny moments that I kind of giggled at. While going through her friend's apartment, Sister Amity, Gloria actually pulls out a fingerprint kit from Amazon. Like, now, at the beginning of this review, I said if you've ever watched Jessica Fletcher, Murder She Wrote, that would be considered a cozy mystery. Now, can you imagine Jessica Fletcher reaching down in her purse and picking her fingerprint kit out, dusting for prints? Like, Miss Glory, Amazon really does sell everything. Another funny moment is when Delphine accuses Glory of running a criminal enterprise, and Glory refrains that she is what the millennials call a girl boss. I had to giggle because I mean, she's not lying, she's hustling and she's getting her bag. Overall, I really love this book. I love Glory's character. And I think I'm going to add it until my favorite cozy mystery book list. I mean, Miss Glory is definitely one to watch. And it's also being said that a second book in the series is coming really, really soon. And I cannot wait to read it. So if you are a fan of cozy mysteries or never really got into the genre, I think Glory B could be a pretty good start to get you there. Miss Danielle Arceneaux, you got a good one on your hands right here, and I really can't wait. So my rating for this book is going to be 4 out of 4 stars. I love it, and I really think you guys should read it. Comment below. Let me know how you feel about it. If you have any other recommendations that are similar to Gory B or that are in the cozy mystery genre, go ahead and put those in the comment box as well. I'm always looking for a new book to read, a new genre, a new series. I'm always open. Also, can you guys go over to my TikTok and my Instagram pages? They are also called Robin's Reading Nest. I try to put like little reactions on both pages, and I try to mainly use my YouTube for like the longer videos. So TikTok and Instagram are my short form, my short videos. So if you guys can go over there and like I said, like, share, subscribe, I would really, really appreciate it. Also, while you're here on my YouTube, Robin's Reading Nest, like, share, subscribe, follow. I would absolutely love that. Thank you. I appreciate you guys being here with me today. And thank you for visiting Robin's Reading Nest, where birds of a feather read together.